Well, Raptor fans, we are here. I had a feeling I was going to be able to talk to you guys within the next week or so, but here we are. And there's a couple moves I want to talk about. Number one, that Dwane Casey obviously was not coming back as a Toronto Raptors head coach, and the question was, where was he going to go? Well, that was answered a couple days ago when he agreed, I think it was to a 5-year deal with the Detroit Pistons. So that's going to be a very intriguing matchup, as the Raptors, whenever we go to Detroit, is always it's a crazy one, right? It's always Air Canada West, and we always have a good time against that team. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there, and to see what happens with the Pistons as years progress. But for the Raptors, because that's mainly what we're here to talk about, they have hired their new coach. Well, I wouldn't really say new. They hired a coach that has been in the organization and was an assistant coach behind Dwane Casey. Nick Nurse has been, well, I don't know if it's 100% official, but that's what's going to be happening. He is going to be named the new head coach of the Toronto Raptors. Now, I've seen a lot of different things all over social media. I've seen some people that are like, thank you, I'm so happy, this is a great move for this team. And I've also seen guys saying, why would you do this? This guy was behind Dwane Casey all this time. Keyword right there. Behind Dwane Casey. Dwane Casey, a very defensive-minded coach. Clearly that didn't work well for this team down the stretch and into the playoffs. What Nick Nurse did for this team is a lot more than people realize. Guys, what is the new NBA? It is a three-point shooting-driven league. For goodness sakes, 5-10 years ago, big men did not shoot a three for their life. If they did, everyone was grabbing their head like, are you nuts? Now, if you're a big man who can't shoot a three, you're kind of in a liability now. Being able to shoot the ball at any position is huge. Being able to shoot the three has been a big part of a lot of team success in the last few years. So what did this team have to do this year? Implement a lot of that. Implement a lot of three-point shooting. And they did. That was to the credit of Nick Nurse. The new offense, the ball movement, that is him. Guys, I know y'all think it's all Dwane Casey. But Nick Nurse did a lot of that. And the bench mob, you gotta credit Nurse as well for that. He was a big, I'm not saying he did everything, but he was a big part of what made the bench mob who they were. So we're not just bringing in a guy who is exactly like Dwane Casey and who's going to do exactly what he did. That's not what we're doing here. Nick Nurse is a different guy. He's got a different style of coaching. He's more of an offensive-minded coach. And like we've said before, the new NBA is not really all about defense. I mean, at points in games, yes, there's a big part of defense. But you're not going to win games 90-87 in the playoffs against the Cavs or Golden State. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to outscore them. So having an offensive-minded coach like Nick Nurse is supposed to be, that's our option. Now, the other option was Messina, obviously a guy in the Spurs. That was an option, and a lot of people were leaning towards that because he was behind Greg Popovich. And I would have liked to see that too, just because it's a totally different look for this team instead of a in-the-organization type of move. But we can't just throw Nick Nurse under the bus just because he was behind Dwane Casey. Casey's not a bad coach either. It's just this team couldn't, I don't know, it was just not working for Dwane Casey. So something had to change, and a coaching change kind of looked like the necessary thing to do. And they did it. Now, only time will tell to see what will, was this the right move? A lot of people saying Jerry Stackhouse. I was initially saying that, but obviously he is now an assistant coach for the Memphis Grizzlies, so that didn't happen. Now there's also, the other two assistant coaches, who knows? They might go with Casey to Detroit. There's been talks about Rex Gleeman and the other guy. Pronouncing his name is always a fun time for me. Will they go with Dwane Casey? I don't know. There's still a lot of question marks for this team moving forward, but they have answered, whether you like it or not, Messiah has answered the call and has assigned a new head coach, and that is Nick Nurse. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. I'm not going to make it too much longer because there's not much else to say. I kind of explained my feeling towards I'm still up in the air. I want to see how this team does in the season and the playoffs for 1 year before I evaluate how he's doing. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, as an assistant coach, no. Different ball game. Different ball game. If you threw Pete Walker as the Blue Jays manager, how would that work? I don't know. You never really know until you see them in that spot. So, only time will tell to see if it was a good move. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. As of right now, how do you feel about it? Whether you could have had Messina or not, how do you feel about Nick Nurse being the head coach of the Toronto Raptors? It's a different feel. We're so used to saying head coach Dwane Casey. But we're not saying that anymore. They got to change something. A lot of people were preaching it and calling for Casey's head because he reacted really badly in game situations. When a guy is struggling, he waited too long to pull him. I don't know if Nick Nurse is going to be any better at that. We're going to have to find out. But a change had to be made, excuse me, and it was made. Partly. I mean, obviously, he didn't go completely out of the organization, but it is a different face. It is a different guy. It's a different play style, I'm assuming. We're just going to have to wait and see how it all plays out. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Go nuts in the comments about what you feel about this. Do you think they should have gone after Messina or not? Do you think they should have let Dwane Casey go at all? This is up to you guys. This video is not really about me. I mean, I gave my opinion. But this is not about me hammering home that this guy is the guy. I want to hear what you guys have to say. It's a discussion video, I guess. Alright, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and you guys are kind of excited to talk Raptors again, because we haven't really been able to do that over the last little while. Hey, hit that like button if you guys enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below, like I said, everything you guys got. Smack that like button. I already said that once. I don't know why I said it again. Comment down below, guys, what you guys thought of the video. What do you guys think of all this stuff that's transpired over the last, well, I guess today for the Raptors. And I'll talk to you guys, I don't know, Friday, Saturday, probably Saturday podcast edition. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes. Evan and I will definitely be discussing obviously the head coach signing for the Toronto Raptors of Nick Nurse. We'll be talking about that on Saturday, as well as Leafs and Blue Jays. Links in the description for all that stuff for the channel and for the iTunes link. Also, guys, Twitter is down below. Follow up, send me a DM. Guys, message me how you feel about Dwane Casey, if you guys, or this move, I guess. If you don't want to put it in the comment section, please. I love talking to you guys. All right? And I'll talk to you guys Blue Jays edition tonight as they look to get back in the win column after a loss. They won 4, lost 1, back in the win column. That's what you want to do against the Tampa Bay Rays today. Jaime Garcia on the mound for the Blue Jays, 7:07 first pitch. And we'll talk to you guys then.